So, I thought I'd just turn the stream on, just go over some things.
They've brought back some things from the Atlas.
Recently, like, we just got very
lucky.
lucky.
Check out what came in from Ribbonfeld.
What?
Local.
Oh, you gave me a divine. We'll fix that up. As we've basically got a pretty good sword. The dexterity is useless, but we've got. I should probably divine this actually. We're actually going to divine this live, just to make it even flexier. Because we are going to use the sword. The dex roll is crap, but we've got pretty much everything else. We didn't use a veiled chaos, but you know, you take what you can get. We lost attack speed. We got more. We lost some spell damage. We didn't gain attack speed. But we pretty high rolled on the chaos damage. Let's divine it again. Let's divine it again. Let's divine it again. Fuck. Alright. We're gonna take that. That's a settle. 5 divines to see how much more damage was that. If it says like no more damage, it's gonna suck, but plus 2.4%. Sure. That's like a talent point. We've already done the chaos with our bronze. Like tier 1 the rarity is a bad roll, but we take those. It's not actually the worst roll. We're leaning on this for stats. We might change the split personalities. The stats. This is actually really bad. I need to fix this. But also, I'm just leaning on the attributes right now. But we can fix that. But the main event, the reason why we're here today, is to showcase actually getting this enchantment. So yeah, I got really lucky in the last few hours. I had just been doing daily farming, and just had rituals not blocked because they add delirium, and got 2 nameless altars and 2 invitations to the nameless one, the king with no name, nameless king, whatever he's called. Got 2 light without meanings, rolled energy shield on both of them, which is like the highest roll, which were worth 45 divines each.
I really must visit Teo Nui again.
Yeah, it basically just made like 100 divines in the last few hours. So alright, let's buy the power runes, buy the mountain runes. I didn't realize the mountain runes were gonna be ritual, but that was a thing. And the base is right, and we've pretty much set double our damage, I guess. So once I click this button, it's like 100 divs down the drain, but is invested. So let's go.
Proud of that one.
Oh, you should be proud of that one. I don't think this is even gonna show up on. Oh, it doesn't even understand that that's a double damage modifier, but it definitely is just because we lost spell damage. That's build. Actually, what we'll do is cool. We're gonna reset this to put this in full properly. Or maybe it was because that was not set. Probably not. Yeah, it just doesn't understand that this is double damage. But that's why we're better than machines, so we understand what it is. We're gonna fix this amulet soon. We've got a reflecting mist chilling, so we can actually, but like getting a simplex and doing the amulet craft was we have to settle at some point. Yeah, let's just run through. So yeah, also just running temples has just been the value. This has both the high rolls, so we keep the timeline. It's Caribbean. They might not be connected if we can roll. The only mod that I'm scared of is recovery rate is less, because with the stuff not the field fake again, that's just laziness on my part. With the explicit modifiers, it basically goes to 100%, and like I can handle no regen, I can handle no leech. But the recovery rate gives my damage taken recoup, my leech, and my regeneration, and it just breaks my build. That's the only mod that I can't really deal with, but maybe I can deal with it now. I'll be clearing everything, but I guess we'll see about that. I like haven't even run out of free ritual crafts. That's how lucky I was. I was just running an anarchy as well. But yeah.
The face that stares back in the ranks is strange.
Twice as many projectiles, basically, is actually freaking mind-blowing. Well, pay to lose, I guess. I am like, just one-shotting everything without even anything, so there's that. But this doubles my on hit, but gain life and stuff as well, so yeah, this is like not only just double damage, it's double really good. Spent like 100 kills. They'd probably say -7. They did have some power. By like 13 and 6.4 divs in. Once you get to 9, that would be stuff. We're now at about the same PoE power level that Cast of Crit didn't need that dead have. Take that. Should check if there's anything else here. I don't want to tease myself now. Yeah. It's interesting. So you learn something new playing this game every day. The first time I saw this in the ritual, it was like a well-rolled one. It was worth a divine. They had like more cast speed and a full 20% chance to gain a power charge. This one, not rolled as well, and definitely not really as valuable. So, lesson learned, I guess, that when you defer it, it changes its nature, changes its role. I wonder if that works with fractured items. So, this is apparently what my accounts were. There was some paladins. Minus 100 divs, that's what I said. Like 100 divs to double my damage. We take those for fun. Yeah, get back to those points. crit. Crits on normal, like, best defense on the offense. Fuck you. That's terrible. Alright. Pretty sure that's false. Yeah. Ritual is very hittable, so I'm guessing this was just different kinds of that's the kind of currency because it's dust. Did we actually miss this? We did.
Really useful.
What have you got?
This one makes great dust.
You got some goods in local?
The line back.
Oh, it's you.
So let us press.
Not bad, not bad.
I don't think anyone wants the rarities these.
That'll do. Not bad, not bad. Let's make
Not
some
really.
dust.
That's other two on four.
Local!
Hail. Onward and upward, as Danig might say.
The runners have brought back some interesting things.
And our map runs. No doubts.
Hail!
Let's rescue these bombs.
Those filthy opportunists will
Bad.
be next. After you!
Can't kill me.
Be washed away! Face the wrath of the sea! Sink! Be washed away! Face the wrath the sea!
If you watch exactly this way.
Give me an admiral's aerial.
You should check out what you need.
What can I do? Hail.
What was he telling me? to check
Always
out?
a pleasure.
We can get a power. These are all.
Let's make some dust. Not bad, not bad. Not bad, not bad.
This is like all.
Things are looking up.
That's not the worst. It's pretty bad though. It's like not really worth accommodating.
The runners have brought back some interesting things.
I actually don't plug in any of this. We just take this stuff and then take the Unix for dust purposes. I also check the jewels because jewels could be right. This crap's all. It's all crap. Like even the boss fight that you get is like not even. Now that I've got the power runes from it, like I'm probably not even gonna run these. Like I just actually don't give a fuck about this. The shipping is fine. Of course, if I got it out of map runner, it's ass because it means other people are getting it. I still a gem cutter.
Hail. We're gonna have fun with that one. I'm on it.
Yeah, it's fine, but
Not bad, not
it's
bad.
yeah, I'm not even gonna run these fucking map runs, dude. This is so balls. Is this worth it? Hell, never bother trading for that. Yeah. They do have some good items in here, but checking every item to see if it's a good item is just such a waste of time. sending these. These are like decent maps. Because this is my like full 10-man team, which is like, what's the point of this? Are they gonna give me a mirror? I don't think so. Saturday Illusions. It's just such a shit base. I shouldn't even take the 16 map. It doesn't matter. It's actually fine. I can exalt that and see if it's good or not. I don't know why the scouting reports is so highly valued, because they actually are. Knockback enemies. Use this. It's like a bunch of tier 2 rolls. This is actually not bad, but it's just got like, I need the hunter suffix, not this shit.
But the angular momentum.
Yeah. It's funny because I probably got that piece of shit from my from these map runners or something. But I probably got them fucking ages ago. Let's just be a city. Taking up space. Slam this and see if it's actually decent. It's actually decent. It's poorly defined, but some lightning strike slayers probably want that shit.
Come on, Isla, think it through.
Dude. That's like not bad, but also like not good. We can combine that. Maybe hope for something good.
Hail.
Things are looking up. We're gonna have fun with that.
Welcome.
See, it just takes too long. I've probably been here for like half an hour for like nothing. If that fucking gem sells, like, okay, paid off. Yeah, okay. This is actually like bazillion. Crit chance is arse, kind of, as a stat, but also it's not the worst it can be. It's like perfectly designed, except for the fucking max res, which is sad. Because you don't want to spam divine from it to fix the one freaking thing that's wrong with it. Yeah, I can't do that shit.
We've much to
takes-
discuss. That will do nicely.
Wow. This is going to be like absolutely insane if you guys do not know what is going on. Just sit back and relax as it's going to blow all of your minds as it did when I first read the story. Like, this story here is something that is extremely special to me. I first started reading it at probably, you know, like the worst point in my short life that I've had. Sob story, I know, like, who actually cares? But there was a hitman involved, so it was on an extreme level that most people probably don't deal with. Anyways, you know, enough of that. I didn't know what I wanted to do, like, kind of at this point, but if it wasn't for the utter enjoyment and pure love that I felt while reading this arc, literally everything wouldn't have turned out how it has. So for me, being able to share this arc with you is really special, and I wouldn't have dreamed a few years ago that I would have been able to share one of the greatest arcs in modern manga with you all. And like, I'm being full on serious when I say this is like one of the greatest arcs in modern manga. This is on par with like the International Assassins arc from Chainsaw Man, and like it's better than a lot of the arcs that I've ever watched, so I don't really know what to compare it to. It's that freaking good, so I can't wait until hopefully this next season that we get to see it. But anyway, firstly, previously on Gege Akutami's Acid Trip Visualized, we had the Chosen One himself, Satoru Gojo, fall into a deep sleep in which we were shown through his dreams. Probably one of the most damn hype backstories of the recent era. Side note though, straight up Gege never misses with these arcs. Like, I don't know how he does it, but it's just goddamn beautiful. Other mangakas out there spamming training arcs like MHA, but Gege dropping heat always. Anyways, Gojo was able to overcome the powerhouse himself, Koji Fushiguro, in his second matchup. However, we did lose the Star Plasma Vessel, which has some extremely important effects that are going to affect the modern day throughout the later parts of this arc here. But you know, Rika would have actually been able to survive this incident if she was just using her ultimate defense, Surfshark VPN. And well, you guys know what Surfshark VPN does. It secures your online activity and can protect you from hackers, data theft, and secure your online identity. Now, honestly, up until recently, I thought I'd be the last person to use a VPN, as I can always kind of find the shows that I'm looking for on specific websites, if you know what I mean. But after the New Zealand border walls dropped and I escaped the country with all my manga in hand for the first time, I soon realized that those same websites can't even be accessed from different places abroad. I was left utterly confused and in a catatonic state, unable to move or think until they arrived. Surfshark VPN, and with the simple flick of the wrist, I was able to change my location right back to my safe place, where I know all the websites I used were. But that wasn't even the end. I was so weaved up all of a sudden, I started learning formal Japanese straight from the Japanese Netflix page, so that next time I get a strike, I can formally address them with my new cool second language. And you guys can too, by easily downloading Surfshark VPN from the link below, or by chucking in my beautiful code Diavolo. You get 83% off and 3 months free on top of it, and it doesn't even stop there. No matter where you are, whether it be in the house, on the toilet, the fridge, anything, Surfshark VPN supports it all. So stop there, stop watching, go outside, touch some grass, then come back in and download Surfshark VPN. Because if you don't, who knows what might happen to your unprotected device, and especially your family's devices. Couldn't be me, man. But anyway, thank you to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring this video. So continuing, on October the 19th of 2018, Gojo is asleep when Megami, Yuji, and Nobara arrive. Once awoken and after a small greeting, Gojo sends them to Utahime's location. There, she tells them that there are 2 moles, one of which is actually one of the Jujutsu higher-ups. And since they can't do anything about that presently, their main target is whoever is feeding information to that said higher-up. Nobara asks if the mole is someone from Kyoto, surprising Yuji. As Utahime prepares to reveal to them who it is, elsewhere, Kasumi meets with Mikamaru. She tells him that their notebooks are due today, and he replies that he is going to sleep. Back at Mikamaru's alleged hideout, Utahime informs the Tokyo first years that it has to be Kokichi due to the process of elimination. Using puppet manipulation to steal information wouldn't be difficult for someone like Mikamaru. At the same time, Kokichi prepares for his visitors. However, Yuji bursts down the door to the fake hideout, confirming to them that he's the mole. At his actual hideout, Kokichi meets with Mahito and Geto. Okay, quick note weaves, so I'm going to call Suedo Geto or Pseudo Geto, however you like to say it, just Geto from now on so it doesn't get confusing, but just know it ain't actually Geto, so it's easier for me to call him just Geto until I can hit that fat reveal on all of you. Anyway, Kokichi comments about how he had thought that they had forgotten about him, but Geto replies that they would never do that since Kokichi knows the consequences of having a curse restriction. As Mahito suggests that they kill Kokichi since they have all the information they need, Geto tells them that they have to heal Kokichi first before they can kill him, due to the terms of the binding vow between them. Mahito begrudgingly uses his idol transfiguration to heal Kokichi, giving him a healthy body for the first time. Mahito remarks that Kokichi should show some enthusiasm, but he replies that comes after they settle their business. With no more words left to be said, the battle at the dam begins. Kokichi calls an entire army of Mikamarus to his side as his confrontation with Geto and Mahito escalates. He enlarges his arm and smashes the weight of Mikamaru's side. Kokichi disappears in the confusion, and Mahito figures that he ran away without any reason to kill them. Bored, Mahito claims he's not in the mood for hunting. Suddenly, the underground lair collapses, forcing Mahito to quickly escape outdoors. Mahito looks at the giant lake with an excited smile as Ultimate Mikamaru Mode Absolute appears. From within its head doing final checkups, Kokichi notices a curtain forming around the area casted by Geto. He thinks that he needs to escape the curtain and reach Gojo to let him know about Shibuya. However, the only way to do that would be defeating Mahito first. Knowing that he won't stand much of a chance, he still doesn't plan on holding back and will use all 17 years, 5 minutes and 6 days worth of cursed energy he's accumulated to win. He starts off by sending an entire year's worth of cursed energy into his ultimate Mikamaru and blasts Mahito with his ultra cannon, destroying the dam and sending rubble flying. Having dodged the initial blow, Mahito knows these types of attacks won't be effective and dives into the water. Using a 2-year charge of cursed energy, Kokichi blasts the entire lake with Miracle Cannon, but despite his best efforts, Mahito leaps from the water to ready a strike at him. Kokichi believes Mahito is overlooking his offense, so now it's time to put his secret plan into action. Mahito extends his arm and grabs onto Mikamaru's head to accurately deliver a cursed energy-infused punch, which vigorously shakes the cockpit. Inside, Kokichi inserts a small tube into one of the side panels and activates a cursed technique charge. The tip of Mikamaru's finger splits open to reveal a small cannon, which then instantly fires a spiked projectile that stabs into Mahito as he's flying around. Initially, Mahito doesn't see it as a threat, but suddenly his wing explodes, leaving him open to get smacked aside by Mikamaru. Mahito crashes through several trees, confused as to how his soul was destroyed. Mikamaru then absolutely pummels the ground, forcing Mahito to fly away and retreat. Kokichi notices Mahito reshaping himself to hide his injuries, making him feel more confident that he might win. Even Geto acknowledges that Kokichi is skilled and his strategies are working against Mahito. Kokichi then uses an insane 5-year charge called Pigeon Viola to send 5 cannons of cursed energy shooting at his opponents. Mahito shapeshifts and tries to avoid the beams, but he's taken by surprise when Mikamaru crushes him from above. The curse narrowly avoids getting hit, but Mikamaru follows up with another strike that sends Mahito flying back into the trees again. Confident that he'll be able to achieve his dreams, Kokichi activates another curse technique charge, reshaping Mikamaru's middle finger into a spike. However, the big bad wolf activates his domain expansion, the self-embodiment of perfection, which is just like hella clean, man. I honestly love the growth of Mahito's character throughout the story. Dude thinks he's like perfection, but he's the absolute like opposite of everything he thinks. It's so good. Idle Transfiguration automatically hits and forces Ultimate Mikamaru to collapse, appearing to signal Kokichi's demise. Confident in his automatic win strategy, Mahito turns his back to the giant cursed corpse and states Kokichi shouldn't put so much faith into a strategy. Suddenly, Mikamaru gets back up and stabs the spike on his middle finger through Mahito's back. It is explained that the curse technique tubes contain simple domains, the domain for the weak invented in the Heian era. Out of the 4 tubes that contained it, the first failed, the second protected the cockpit from the domain, and the third appears to have finished Mahito off for good, as his body seemingly explodes after being stabbed. Mikamaru roars and turns his weapon towards Geto, ready to use his remaining 9 years to finish him off. However, the cockpit abruptly explodes from the impact of Mahito's enlarged fist. Horrified, Kokichi looks through the broken window to see Mahito's deranged smile. Kokichi takes the last technique tube and desperately rushes towards Mahito in an attempt to stab him. Yet, just as the two are about to touch, it skips away to Kokichi recalling talking with Kasumi about getting to know one another better. She made a promise to come see him, but sadly, Mahito is assured that that will never happen. Mikamaru collapses for good, with its pilot's blood dripping from the Titan's head. Rest in peace, Mikamaru. Obviously, Big Gege loves this character, and he like literally wears the disguise in public, so I wonder if perhaps he found Kokichi to be an extremely human character, who to everyone else seemed bad, but to, you know, us readers, we realized there was an entire level to his thoughts that no one else had even considered from the beginning. Anyways, after leaving, Geto suggests to Mahito that perhaps he was cutting it a little too close, but Mahito believes that it was all according to plan. 10 days later, we arrive at the moment you have all been waiting for, to what is the absolute creme de la crop of hands. Like, oh my god, I can't even right now. Nothing in JJK even compares so far to the absolute brutality that happens next. So yes, finally, on October the 31st, 2018, the record of Shibuya incident begins at 7 PM when a curtain is cast with a 400-meter radius in the middle of Shibuya City. The rules of this curtain are that non-sorcerers can enter the curtain, but they cannot exit, trapping themselves inside. Jujutsu sorcerers and managers can move through it as they please, but the reception is blocked, so all communication has to be maintained outside of the curtain. Over with our favourite manager, Kiyotaka Ejichi, he informs the Nanami team of the situation outside the curtain in the Shibuya station. Nanami expresses that the situation is quite a pain, while Ino tries to inform Megami about the curtain. Obviously, Megami already knows like what a curtain and everything is, so he just completely ignores him, and Nanami ends up asking Ejichi where Gojo currently is. But meanwhile, just outside of the Shibuya City Business Center, nobody is found where the normally busy intersection is. Something terrible must have happened, and everyone would have spread out to probably the edges of the curtains. They're all asking the exact same thing. Bring Satoru Gojo. Akari, another manager from Jujutsu Tech, relays this information to the Zenith team. The old dog, Naobito, understands that the non-sorcerers were told to say it. Sorcerers are free to move in and out of the curtain, so that makes it impossible for them to break the barrier with brute force. The ideal strategy is to look for and neutralize the curse user who casts the curtain. However, each team is on standby for now, because the higher-ups decided that Gojo should work alone to suppress the Shibuya incident as quickly as possible. Inside the curtain, the civilians dressed in their Halloween costumes all discuss the situation. At 8:31 PM, Satoru Gojo arrives inside of the curtain and makes his way inside of the Hikari Shinkyu's Shibuya shopping mall. He analyzes the situation and heads straight down to basement floor 5, the lowest level basement where the subway trains operate. At Aoyama Cemetery, the Meimei team awaits further instructions. Yuji is eager to help, and Meimei surmises they'll be called in as backup shortly. Wee Wee, Meimei's freaking weird younger brother, feels that she shouldn't be used in such a way. Okay, like, one sec, I just need to cut myself off here. Like, I get it, bro, your sister is absolutely banging and stuff, but that doesn't mean you need to go like all incesty. But like, anyway, they then get a message that another curtain has appeared along with Gojo's arrival. Because of this, Mei-Mei's team turns and runs towards Meiji Station. Back with my dad, Satoru, he descends into the Tokyo Metro onto a specific platform I've failed to pronounce probably way too many damn times to even bother trying to say again, where he's confronted by Jogo, Hanami, and Choso. Satoru tells Jogo to not have an excuse for losing this time, and Jogo replies that the strongest sorcerer should have his first ever excuse ready. Sick burn, Jogo. Jogo hitting him with a freaking sick burn. Hanami's roots block all possible exits, but Gojo claims he wasn't going anywhere anyway. Everyone standing on the outside lanes of the platform is suddenly forced onto the tracks surrounding the forjujutsu used with non-sorcerers. Satoru nonchalantly tells those around him to stand out of his way if they don't want to die. He realizes that blocking the exits created a blind spot, so he can't break through, just in case there are people on the other side. Heading for Gojo, Jogo burns through several civilians and Choso attacks with slicing exorcism. Both Hanami and Jogo attack Satoru, but are instantly stopped by his infinity. They strengthen their curse energy and activate domain amplification, forcing Satoru to dodge. He surmises that they learned this technique from a curse user, as normal barriers are meant to trap their targets in a box, but domain amplification metaphorically surrounds the target with water-like curse energy. With this method, the curses can neutralize the infinity. For those who are like obviously still confused, I just think of Killua and his like quick as fuck reflexes when he trains the like during that dark game to get his like reflexes up with the electricity and shit. Where they super instant the skin, they just kind of like that down prior to the Shibuya incident, Hida advises his allies that Gojo is peace when he's working alone. Any jutsu sorcerers and non-sorcerers will only restrict his movements and render him incapable of using his curse techniques. In this situation, Satoru would be forced to use defensive, and even his domain expansion would harm people. So he explains that the plan is to mess around and force Gojo to think of countermeasures for a period of time until the prison round is ready. Back in the battle, Jogo snatches somebody's head off and reminds Satoru the rules with him to not run away. Satoru admits he was surprised, and Jogo is pleased to hear a possible excuse. However, Gojo rejects this and removes his blindfold, revealing his 6 eyes. Then adding that he's only surprised because these foolish curses believe they could use their brain to defeat him. Looking at Hanami, he points him out and says that this is their 3rd meeting, and their lead is getting cut first. Without fear, Satoru walks right up to Jogo while ignoring Hanami beside him. They both move to attack, but Satoru counters Jogo's hand with its own body. He avoids Hanami's strike and snaps Jogo's arm with a off. He then uses it to block Hanami's follow-up attack and continues to chase after Jogo. Hanami realizes Satoru only made the threat earlier to confuse him, and not only that, he also deactivated his limitless technique. He questions if Gojo plans to abandon focusing on his technique and fight in close quarters instead. Because of this, Hanami decides it is best to deactivate his amplification and activate his innate technique. However, this turns out to be a fatal mistake as Jogo turns back to yell at Hanami. Satoru instantly grabs the tree branches growing out of Hanami's eye socket and forcibly pulls them out completely from his skull. Seeing this, Jogo runs away in fear, shocked that Satoru was still so strong while only using cursed energy manipulation and physical attacks. Choso attempts to hit Gojo with blood manipulation while killing civilians along the way, but it's stopped by Gojo's infinity. Satoru recognizes that Choso is a death agent and decides to ignore him for now. Jogo and Hanami both attack him again with domain amplification. However, this time due to the now weakened Hanami, Satoru can counter by strengthening his infinity. He turns and crushes Hanami against a wall with his expanded limitless. Jogo attempts to divert his attention by thwarting civilians, but Satoru doesn't hesitate to crush Hanami completely, annihilating the curse with his infinity, turning him into nothing but a mist of blood. With Hanami exercised, Gojo turns back to meet the scared Jogo's gaze and claims he's next. Skipping away from his absolute domination, Pod is laying down in Shibuya right now. We find ourselves with Yuji, Mei-Mei, and Weaving as they arrive at Meiji Shinjume Station, and that is the last time I'll ever saying the full name for that station, where they are informed that there are 2 barriers now surrounding the station. After being informed about the situation, Mei-Mei uses her ability and some probes to investigate the immediate area. When she finishes scouting, she informs Yuji of what she saw in the station. She asks if Mahito is down there, but finding a name that isn't just grasshopper or some Japanese text that translates to grasshopper instead of can't find anything else. Yuji asks the spirit if he can go to the which Bug says that he is down below and that he is currently looking at the area. As Yuji runs, the Bug switches put up the screen. He notices an object and realizes the cursed spirit was only guarding the item that projects the screen. The grasshopper curse tells Yuji that transfigured humans don't taste as good as normal ones, and that he knows this because he's smart. Annoyed, Yuji kicks the curse to the floor. He quickly follows up and punches the grasshopper's torso and states that the curse needs to stop looking down on humans. The grasshopper says that Yuji isn't smart, and those who aren't smart die. I actually hate this guy. He's talking about what kind of curse Yuji thinks he is. Yuji is able to pick up on the obvious answer. This makes the grasshopper curse realize that Yuji is actually smart. Like actual pug brain man, Yuji deserves to live a bug's life, not Jojo's shame. Continues to avoid being hurt. The dumbass grasshopper asks if Yuji is smart, and the student reveals to him that smart people don't generally brag about being smart. This genuinely shocks the grasshopper curse, who covers his mouth from surprise. Be serious with this kid. They then engage in close quarters and trade blows. The grasshopper believes it has the advantage in a numbers battle because it has 2 more arms. However, easily overcome his opponent with fast superior skill. The grasshopper curse attempts to shoot Black Mucus at Yuji, but he ducks under and prepares to deliver an attack. However, grasshoppers actually have an extensive abdomen to lay eggs underground, and he uses this in an attempt to strike Yuji with an extended 5-point hold. Yuji is fast enough and knocks the appendage aside before separating it completely with a chop. He then exercises the stupid little grasshopper before breaking the stake and undoing the curtain. Meanwhile, Mane kills the transfigured human on the basement floor and Mane decides they should stay and fight every clue of Yuji before getting down to the 5th level. Below them, Peter prepares before he trains for Karajuki Bishop Station. He notices that the grasshopper curse was defeated and admits that it must have taken a skilled sorcerer to do so. The hero expresses his disappointment, having decided quite as well, but knows what he must do and sticks to the plan. Back in the P-Town with our boy Gojo, Gojo frantically checks for where as he runs, stumbling through the crowd on platform. Satoru follows closely behind him with an extremely dark and menacing presence. Our brother Choso lets Jojo take all the heat while quietly trying to hide in the chaos among the civilians. Jojo tries to push people in Satoru's way and strike from behind, but the Infinity is able to stop his person from their near as he goes forward to punch. Choso nonchalantly shoots 3 blood arrows from a good distance down the platform. The Infinity stops him, and Satoru knows Choso's location, but chooses to ignore him again. Honestly, thank Gojo for real, he didn't even murder Choso first thing, like, he knew what was going on kind of thing. Still though, Gojo believes that the enemy should have passed already. Down the line though, get away with the god and states that they need to get Gojo on edge more before they make a move. Meanwhile, at Meiji Station's 4th floor, the Mame team regroups and heads down 1 floor. On the way down, Mame commends Yuji and states his strengths. Yuji replies by revealing that it wasn't easy to the 2nd floor and that it wouldn't have been that easy as it was. Carrying his system better than previous students they did graciously accept his system's compliment. Honestly, this is much of a kick to just leave considering it for being wrong. After reaching the 3rd floor, he finds the limit, but his head immediately transfigures and he dies. Before he died though, he mentioned everyone was on the train. This makes Yuji realize that it's headed straight for the golden leaves. Back at the parachute station, Satoru was surprised to see that the train is arriving. Some of the civilians attempt to get on and flee, but it's already stuffed to the bridge. The train's bigger humans that start attacking as soon as they are loose. Satoru watches in horror while Mahito pops out of the train to greet Jojo. Civilians run away in fear as the train's bigger humans rush to the train indiscriminately attacking everyone in sight. Satoru watches in horror and doesn't believe looking down the number of humans is through the host advantage. Mahito tries attacking, one that attacked Yuji and Nanami and tries to attack him, but Mahito jumps back out of the way. The creepy voice then comments about how he finds humans so disgusting since there are so many of them, and as he says this, people begin pouring down onto their floor and below. As Gojo figures that the cursed spirits have allies who are about 7 more people to their location, Mahito uses eyes configuration, multiplicity, body repellent, and Chozo in combination using blood manipulation, converging, supernova techniques to a crowded Gojo. However, Gojo usually blocks him, pulling a bunch of civilians in the process. From behind, Jogo appears watching at Gojo. The sorcerer manages to grab his arm, but Jogo instantly severs the limb to get away. Mahito and Jogo think about the current situation, believing Gojo won't use his technique as he doesn't want to incur any more civilian casualties. Yet, obviously these negative IQ eggs are absolutely shocked when Gojo goes goth mode and activates his freaking domain expansion. Satoru's all or nothing domain expansion of 0.2 seconds casts an unlimited void over the platform. The time was an educated guess that assumed known sorcerers could only stay within the domain for that long without suffering permanent damage. In that time, half a year's worth of info flooded into everyone's brains, immobilizing them. At this level, their special grade curses could awaken at any moment. Taking that into consideration, Satoru focuses on killing all of the transfigured humans, and in approximately 299 seconds, 1,000 transfigured humans were annihilated after the deactivation of the domain by the hands of the strongest man alive. Immediately after, Satoru notices a small box appear next to him on the floor. With the stage set for their plan to succeed, Geto finally activates the prison realm. In a flashback before the battle, it's explained that the prison realm is the final remains of the Buddhist monk Genshin Impact. It is a living barrier capable of sealing anything, even Gojo. Jogo inquires about the conditions, and Geto reveals that the target must stay within a 4-meter radius for 1 minute. Annoyed at the absurdity of this, Jogo threatens him, but Geto assures Jogo not to worry, as his version of 1 minute is slightly different. In the present, Geto orders the prison realm to open. The cursed object breaks out of its talisman seal and expands into a cycloptic curse with an eye in the center. The eye meets Satoru's gaze and he instantly attempts to flee. However, Geto reveals himself and greets Satoru as if he had never even died in the first place. Confused, memories of his best friend rush through Satoru's mind, and he still can't understand how Geto could even be alive. He's sure he killed him himself, but his eyes tell him something else. When Geto said 1 minute to Jogo in the past, he meant 1 minute worth of time that processed within Satoru's 6 eyes enhanced brain. Although it was just a moment, 3 years worth of memories flooded in, causing the prison realm to instantly capture Gojo, immobilizing him and shutting off all access to his body's cursed energy. Recognizing that he is lost, he still demands to know who Geto is, as Gojo knows in his heart that Suguru is dead and that this man is a fraud. The man then removes the stitches and takes off the top of his head, revealing the true villain of the entire series, I think, and that he is indeed capable of switching bodies, along with using that said body's possessed natural abilities. Satoru is still confident that Yuta will step in his place. However, Big Brain Geto argues Yuta Akotsu cannot become the next Satoru Gojo. He bids farewell to Satoru and tells him he will release him into the new world after his plan has succeeded. So, he will come back eventually. Meanwhile, down the line, Team Mei Mei heads towards Satoru's position. Suddenly, Yuji stops, and as Yu asks what's up, he finds a small Mekamaru-like communication device randomly on his ear, asking if he can hear his voice. Yuji's quick to take it off and attempts to break it, but Kokichi quickly reveals that Satoru Gojo has been sealed. Back at the station, the imposter addresses Gojo and mockingly bids him good night, to which Gojo replies by saying that it might be good night for him, but for him, it's time to wake up. And Geto's arm suddenly moves up, grabbing his own neck. Geto is even stunned by this and tells Mahito his theory about the body and soul being separate must be incorrect. Satoru tells them to get this over with, and Geto agrees, closing the gate and sealing Satoru Gojo at last. Meanwhile, Mei Mei doesn't believe Kokichi, but he provides information around his own death, saying that he was killed by Mahito on October the 19th. On October the 19th, and that this puppet is simply a contingency plan. There are only 3 of these puppets in separate locations, and one was given to Mei Mei's team because they are the least likely to be the actual moles. Kokichi warns them that there is a curse unit coming to attack them, saying that they are stronger than the grasshopper and likely around semi-grade 1. Meimei wants to ignore them and reach Gojo, but Kokichi advises them to focus on taking down the 4 barriers that have appeared around Shibuya. All the teams on standby there have likely been caught inside a curtain and are unable to use cell phones. This goes for managers as well, so Kokichi tells Yuji to head back to Meiji Station and then go over to Shibuya above ground from there. Kokichi asks Meimei to defeat the curse user and clear the path for Yuji, to which she agrees. Kokichi understands the Jujutsu world and human society will be absolutely ruined if Gojo disappears, so he asks them to put their lives on the line to save him. Meimei notes that their enemies have arrived and this ugly-ass curse user Abina appears with his Shikigami on a chain. Back at the Hikari building, Choso and Jogo finally awaken from their state after the Unlimited Void. Suddenly, the prison realm drops to the ground out of Gedo's hand, cracking the floor. Inside, Satoru sits in an unknown area surrounded by skeletons and notices that time doesn't pass. He admits he messed up but believes everything will be fine because he has faith in everyone else. Teams Kusakabe, Zenin and Nanami all discuss the situation outside the curtain. Team Nanami agrees amongst themselves that the most concerning new development is the appearance of another curtain trapping Gojo and preventing sorcerers from entering. It's already been almost an hour since Gojo arrived in Shibuya, so from their perspective, it's difficult to understand why the enemy would wait until now. Nanami decides to head for the curtain's caster and asks Ino and Megami to do their best to rescue civilians. All 3 teams of Jujutsu sorcerers then head into Shibuya at the same time. Outside the perimeter of the curtain, Ajichi talks on the phone with the other manager, Akari. He asks her to confirm the situation inside the curtain and get back out as quickly as possible. Ajichi plans to get everyone off duty involved, but before he can do that, he's suddenly stabbed from behind by the freaking creep, Haruta. Shigemo pulls his sword from Ajichi's belt and watches him fall onto the ground. From behind, a mysterious monk orders him to continue targeting the people in suits around the curtain's perimeter, then head inside after. Back in Shibuya Station, Big Brain Gedo explains that the prison room requires time to process Gojo before it can be moved. Mahito suddenly notices one of Mikomaru's communication devices on the roof nearby and destroys it. Kokichi immediately relays the information about the enemy being unable to move Gojo to Yuji. He says that it's best to move in on the Shibuya Station from the surrounding subways, and once all the curtains preventing the sorcerers from reaching Gojo are down, they can then attack the station simultaneously. Yuji runs into the curtain, trapping civilians, and using his blinding speed and cursed energy, he clears out the group of transfigured humans to help rescue the civilians. Yuji keeps up the momentum and then climbs a large building with ease before yelling out to Nanami. Yuji's scream echoes throughout Shibuya, reaching the Nanami team. Yuji continues yelling, revealing that Gojo Sensei was sealed. Team Kusakabe hears this as well, and the news shocks Nanami, to the point he immediately changes plans. Megami is also surprised to hear that his mentor has been sealed, and Nanami says that if it is true, then all humans in Japan are surely doomed. Gedo gets Mahito, Jogo, Dagon, and Choso into a group and informs them of his next move. He will remain here to protect the prison realm and asks the curse users on how they plan on dealing with all of the sorcerers heading their way. Choso simply wants to avenge his brothers by killing Yuji and Nobara, to which Jogo says that Yuji is off limit for being Sukuna's vessel, but Choso simply doesn't care. Mahito tells Jogo to calm down and playfully reveals that he wants to kill Yuji too. After seeing Gojo in person, Mahito is confident that their side already holds a solid advantage over the sorcerers and that they can win without Sukuna's help. He expresses his unusually messed up smirk and instead suggests that they all try to kill Yuji. Annoyed, Jogo asks if Mahito is being serious and he replies that he is for real. Jogo knows that Sukuna isn't their ally and could cause them all to suffer, but the era of curses will still surely come regardless. He believes curses do not fear death and can walk their paths sincerely to achieve their goals. Mahito argues that even if a cursed spirit is constant along that path, they still live according to their desires. He acknowledges that reviving Sukuna is a legitimate strategy, but Mahito doesn't want to fight Jogo over it. Instead, Mahito turns it into a game. If he encounters Yuji first, he'll kill him, and if Jogo finds him first, he can use the fingers to restore Sukuna's power. Choso adds that if he finds Yuji, he will try to kill him as well. This annoys Jogo, but Mahito is excited to see that Choso wants to play too. Gedo decides to pass on the game and stay behind with the prison realm. Jogo interrupts and argues that it's the safest and smartest strategy for them all to remain in place with Gedo and wait for Yuji and all the remaining sorcerers to come to them. However,
Maybe
Mahito,
just take
Choso, and even Dagon run off once the game starts. Determined to not let them find Yuji first, Jogo runs off as well and inadvertently decides to take part. Instantly after,
you really
Gedo
wrong,
notices
by the way.
Mimiko and Nanako watching him and says that the curses are smarter than them. They state that they helped with killing monkeys and demand Suguru Gedo's body back as promised. They don't want the imposter using their beloved master's body any longer. Gedo refuses though and tells their girls that they should make a binding vow whenever dealing with a sorcerer. He tells them to leave unless they want to be killed by their master's body. Just freaking insanely brutal, man. They disappear into the crowd and claim he'll live to regret this. But the imposter responds with a claim that it's been so long that he's forgotten what regret even feels like. Just a pretty
That
badass
seems like
thing to
a
say.
bad time.
Meanwhile, Yuji stands on top of a building in Shibuya and continues yelling for Nanami. After Nanami's team find him, Yuji and Mikamaru bring them completely up to speed as far as the situation revolving around
Three
Gojo.
strong boxes.
Nanami
mate,
agrees
see?
coordinating an attack from the adjacent stations makes sense for a battle plan, but in order for that to work, they must lift the curtain first. Nanami asks Ino to take the first tiers and lower the curtain, prohibiting the sorcerers from entering the station, whereas he's going to get outside the curtain and meet up with the teachers. Additionally, Nanami wants Ino to pass along the information to the other teams to get numbers. After the brave one Ino he goes being forced out of power, and anyone like Yuji is being protected from targeted by the Jujutsu hierarchs. Sorcerers and the and while they do many curses and curse users that were held back by Gojo's attack. This means that the Jujutsu sorcerers fail to reach the Shibuya, the aid and humanity will surely be forced. Meanwhile, the Shibuya power reaches the world what Gojo in the Shibuya is. We're excited to hear Gojo has been sealed. The old man almost comes to a fixed hand in which Ogami replies that nothing will change as cursed users will curse and the cursed will die. Yuji tries to break through the curtain, removing the sorcerers from the future, but the attack is unaffected and the barrier doesn't even budge. Ino is impressed with Yuji's rising power, but this just means that the curtain is incredibly stable. As Megami's divine goal, Totality, force transfer the humans in the background to save civilians, he suggests that they try and find a weak point in the curtain. Ino argues that there is no weak point since they can't get inside. He believes the curtain's task is within the curtain, but Yuji explains how curtains work at a major station. By staying outside the curtain, the risk of being seen increases, and in return, the curtain's strength does as well. Hearing this, Megami smiles and says that something obvious. At 10:01 PM, on top of Shibuya Tower, Jiro or Gyro, if this is the most obvious spot to strengthen the curtain, Ogami's grants the breeze. So no, they will have to kill the curtain inside the building before getting to them. However, they both take enough guns to bring Nura suddenly gets out of the deck. As Nura goes into the direction, Yuji goes in the other, then using a wire, but he ramps up all the curse users at once. Ogami's range helps her get out of harm's way, but our caster is swept clean off the building. Takuma takes this chance to break one of the curse tools that is putting up the screen, but also realizes that one of the enemies has taken the other two curse tools with him, preventing him from continuing. Yuji further ramps up our side to enemy wire and drags him down very fast across the room. Yuji snaps the wire and dives to try to kill him with one out to Megami to deactivate the way, but dropping our side over the floor so that's the top of the tower, that is pushing Ogami from the right side. Gedo says that it is time for him to start taking his way to becoming a great and passionately lowers his arms over his face. Back below, Megami flares up his first and demands that the old man gets up. Awasaki stops playing dead and smiles at the witness. Megami reminds you of the time to waste and be free. On top of Shibuya Tower, Yosuichi blows in his body as he activates his innate technique. Suspicious beast summon. Eno possesses a seance curse that allows him to become a skeleton by hiding his face. In doing so, he can summon and use the ability of First, Eno summons Paichi and she can form clothing himself capabilities at the two. However, Ogami demands puts his body on the left. He good. Eno thought he wants to wrap up this fight as quickly as possible to get back to the first years because they know he trusted him with looking after them. He tells himself to understand the facts and control himself in order to eliminate one's ego. Meanwhile, Yuji and Megami fight alongside the divine god, Brutality, to against Awasaka. The boys don't mind fighting against him. They're working together to beat the hard fight in this battle. Yes, he overwhelmingly Molten, but he remains completely unscathed despite all his efforts. He slices the fusion every night, but gets caught in the close hunt and flung onto the perch structure above him. However, his skill is true. Anyway, Megami points out that they won't easily waste his time. They hit a solid power and Ogami's ransom against the Molten and continues barrage of attacks, which continues charging the jungle. As Ogami finishes, his grandson swallows something and starts to transform into a demon demon. The destroyer of freaking worlds, Daddy. Koji, push it through. Though, in typical Japanese manga, anything aside, like I can already say this family was so beautiful, it skips away back to December 2nd, 1989. The day Satoru Goten was born. In the past, curse users were free and used their techniques to kill others for money. However, that day, with his presence in the world, the balance of the Jujutsu community was completely altered. The curse users were stripped of their freedom, and that feeling, dissatisfaction, has stuck with Awasaka and Ogami ever since. In the present day, Awasaka continues fighting with Yuji and Megami. He uses his lust for revenge on Gojo to fuel his anger in battle, and beats back the two first years. This surprises his students as they don't understand how nullifying all of their damage. Megami figures out that it might be related to Zenith, and begins to yell out and bold his eye. He says that Gojo is in Shibuya. Yuji is confused, but this helps Megami conclude that the cursed user's technique isn't something like damage nullification that could counter Gojo's limitless technique. Awasaka claims that he's ready to finish their battle and Megami responds by unleashing his new rapid escape Shikigami, the straight away of countless small units that are supposed to serve as a distraction. However, Awasaka is a random trigger as he's hit way harder than he should have been. This gets Megami's attention and he immediately tells Yuji, revealing that he's figured out the enemy's curse technique. Confused, Kuma Ino looks across the roof of the Shibuya Tower at Ogami and his grandson, who is shapeshifted into Koji and Shiburo. Ino figures out that the old woman is a necromancer, and he can tell with just one look
And I was
that
blocked
Koji
in by
is
the
ridiculously strong. The Jujutsu sorcerer attempts to summon his auspicious beast, Ryu, but Toji rips off his mask before Ino even knows what's happening. He then lands a powerful right hook on the sorcerer's jaw, followed up by grabbing Ino's collar and pummeling his face with a flurry of rapid-fire punches. Down below, Awasaka realizes the purpose of Megami's weapon is more of a diversion than an actual attack. He wonders if the Jujutsu high student try to hit him with a lethal blow, flying for rabbits, and suddenly the curses are deactivated and Megami's magic element falls from the sky with look on top of it. Awasaka manages to resist the impact and the Shikigami is deactivated just as quickly as it appeared. This annoys the old man, who demands Megami to man up and fight him directly. Megami replies, that's more of the boy style, and right on cue, Yuji hurls a freaking fire at Awasaka. The curse user is able to knock him with a blow though, but is still blown away by Yuji's kick. Megami uses Awasaka's attention, while Yuji prepares his full power. Awasaka believes he can even anticipate his punch, and Megami attacks at the same time as his curse technique can do it. Make strong attacks weak and weak attacks strong. He believes the harder the opponent fights, the easier he wins. It is revealed that our boys have already figured out your opponent's name technique and give him surmising that the inverse technique of giving maximum and minimum limit is the curse user is very important in this body with curse users delivered. Yuji understood and suggested that they attack less strong and weak attacks at the same time. Megami agrees, stating that they just need to keep pressure on and repeat and realizing that they've figured it out. In the presence of any blows, Yuji makes contact and his punch is instantly nullified, but his face time is enough to do serious damage. Awasaka pours blood from his mouth, and before he even has a chance to recover, the guys resume their beatdown. Injured for the first time in this battle, Awasaka refuses to lose and forces the boys back, demanding the kids don't be cocky. Suddenly, Yuji gets behind the old man and throws another powerful punch. Awasaka turns around to counter it, but Yuji stops just before he adjusts his strike, throwing a now weaker punch, which Awasaka's good makes it extremely powerful, knocking him completely out. Impressed with this, Megami tells you that he can pull off the moves. With Awasaka defeated, Yuji and Megami break the two commission curtains he was holding, deactivating the curtain for the sorcerers from entering the station. As Megami thinks about interrogating the old man as the artist, he notices something frog on the top of Shibuya Tower. Megami notices and tries to summon Noah to rescue him before he is dead. ain't helping with any of the hands. Meanwhile, Nanami is getting horrified as he finds the Gigi unconscious and bleeding out at Shibuya Station. At the same time, on the station, Nanami is the curses are being in close combat with his battle axe. Old Kilio is typically being defeating first split as Maymay is applying terror and technique works. Maymay will ability to exact word manipulation with a weak technique, so she focused on being effective without her. And being effective because asks to leave, but we will tell her to be quiet while the system is speaking. Maymay explains that reinforcing on his body was first injured so far. Realizing this, Maymay was initially devastated, but the realization allowed her to go back and last on her native thing, making Maymay into the philosopher she wants to be. When you immediately flaps and makes a beam and flaps to his Maymay asks her brother why the person of the life value is proportional to, which he says that life's value is in proportion to how useful they are to Maymay. I love Maymay though, but I couldn't imagine what premise this would be to have their lives in the real and say that she then asks Sabine to service the teacher and he's unable to answer. Maymay will expect that he can't answer as a person and they word the reason that all was. She crushes his head with her hand and reveals to service the teacher his life itself. We will tell the sister that the curtain has been taken down and Maymay is excited with the prospect of Gojo owing to big time. Gyo watches her movements from the Shibuya station and is impressed that she wants to be killed. Meanwhile, on Shoko, Jordan Kamara will decide I'm not saying that one again. Great user Shigimo Obata and Nobara in the middle of the road. Nobara tells Nita to stay behind her and steps up to face the curse user alone. After slaying so many male managers, Shigimo is excited to finally find some girls to play with. Which, if I remember correctly, is like the exact same thing he said at the end of the Kalguur arc. The dude is just like a degenerate person personified. Returning from taking the GG to safety, Nanami tells himself that he never has or never will be frustrated by his own uselessness. He feels that he's just looking to the face of all of the evils in the world. He thinks that his all opponents do nothing but make him powerful. Meanwhile, we see the transport humans inside Leo. Kari meets him and notifies him, but it sounds like a GG has been taken while they were on the phone. Mark tells the bar and the Kari approaches him and she stays Nobara and Kari are confronted by the curtain of Shigimo. Nobara believes that Shigimo is the one who would take the GG. She asks Nita to continue high in the summer, but escape through the cover. Shigimo interrupts his victories by throwing his sword at Nobara, but she deflects it with her hammer and charges at him, confident that he's admitted to fight her. Suddenly, Shigimo figures out that Akari is not actually hiding. As Akari runs through the station, she passes by Shigimo's hand suit hanging on the wall. This leads Shigimo right to her location, where he runs up to her and delivers a soccer-style kick straight to the manager's chest, upsetting Nobara and injuring Akari. Nobara tries to stop him, but the sword suddenly falls into Shigimo's hand, allowing him to slash Nobara's leg, leaving the shattered Akari. He cut distracts Nobara's attention, allowing Shigimo to attack the other body. With the sword landing a fierce-like hook into the wall, completely dazing Nobara loses her balance and falls into her hands. She can't believe how good her opponent keeps landing shots. Shigimo asks Nobara how she's been cast, kneeling over and shooting her with an explosive cannon. She claims that she's getting a lot stronger since they last met, but it doesn't have any faith. Nobara tries to butt home by asking Shigimo about his motivation. However, he doesn't have any conviction and kills simply because of his father. He cuts Akari while she's on the ground, angering Nobara. She tells him to stop and he replies blocking her by asking her to make him stop. Nobara's son moves back to her feet, determined to save Akari. Just as Shigimo prepares to finish her off, they both detect an extremely powerful position. Nanami, the big man himself, walks into the substation and immediately flees the curse user with a very nice and happy expression on his face. Shigimo notices Nanami's attire and wonders if he's supposed to kill non-black suits too. By the way, like you are about to witness the strength of a pure 9-to-5 working man. While Shigimo wonders if he can kill non-black suits, Nobara recognizes Nanami as the leader of Megumin's team. The curse user tells the newcomer to read the room as Nanami wraps his necktie around his fist and walks towards him. Shigemo tries to show that he has the hostage, but Akari had crawled up the escalator while he was distracted. While he expresses that he's sad that she got away and Nanami appears directly behind him, he asks Shigemo how many curse users there are and where they are located. Shigemo turns around and puts a slash in Nanami's shoulder, saying that he doesn't know. He tries to follow up with a kick, but feels like he's thinking so cold. to save his life. He wants to run, but Nanami grabs his head and repeats his question once again. Before Shigemo can even answer, Nanami delivers a ferocious body shot that slams Shigemo into the wall, shattering the attack. But as Nanami is in danger, because she's of course the first to rescue him, decides to rear and his teeth slash Nanami from behind, with no Marinara to the wall. Shigemo tells her to stay out of it, but Nanami interrupts and grabs him off his throat. Instead of repeating the question again, Nanami reveals and found a single dead metal right here. He lifts his fist and charges it with his Shigemo, asking a Shigemo responsible. Terrified, helpless piece of trash apologizes, but it's too late as Daddy hits him with his cursed finger, smashing the boy's face, leaving him in unconscious blood. Nobara is amazed by Nanami's strength, noting that he is exactly the role of a medicine. He walks along like a beating child and tells Nobara the need to find Kari. Meanwhile, Yuji watches through the humans getting murdered all throughout the streets. He wants to help, but there isn't enough time to save the crew in this desperate crowd either. However, might be able to save the day. My favorite arrives with a meager boat and really respect to the entire crowd, commanding the ring. Shortly after PoE rescue the civilians, Yuji enters Shibuya Station at around 10 p.m. Unbeknownst to Yuji, Choso waits inside his station to find his brother's killer. Back with Nanami, he nears Ocean and he speaks with Nobara and Kari, who reveals that Ajichi will be okay and tells the girls to not forget that Ajichi originally trained to be a sorcerer instead of a manager. So how Go's built kind of different, you know? Nobara and Akari also learn about Gojo's situation, something they didn't hear about as they were indoors during Yuji's yelling. Nanami asks them to wait for rescue while he joins the Zenith team and heads for Shibuya Station. Nobara wants to go, but Nanami insists that the coming battle requires grade 1 and above sorcerers. Anyone else would simply be in the way. Meanwhile, underground, Mei Mei comes face to face with Geto. She's surprised to see him, but quickly dismisses the idea that he could be alive. Geto tries to act friendly, but Mei Mei hasn't forgotten about Abina. Geto replies that he feels sorry that he has to kill a former friend and summons the special grade disease curse, the smallpox deity, to do it for him instead. Mei Mei is surprised to see him use curse manipulation, but still doesn't doubt her conclusion about him for a moment. Geto reveals that he doesn't have many curses left after the attack on the Curse of Death in the previous year, but the ones he does for disease are one of these things. He leaves the area telling Mei that if she can keep the smallpox deity, then he can make it.
Hurting this guy.
Immediately, so Mei says, tracking Mei Mei. A large gravestone to fall from the sky onto the coffin. The curse then begins to count, but Mei Mei breaks out before it ends. Wee Wee initially watches in horror, but is excited to see his sister survive. Mei Mei is impressed, stating that it's been longer than she can remember since her life had been in danger for even a moment. At the entrance to Shibuya, Yuji runs inside and immediately finds Choso, who recognizes him as his brother's killers. He activates his blood manipulation, convergence, then uses the secret technique of blood manipulation called Piercing Blood. The ability shoots a condensed cursed energy reinforced arrow extremely fast at Yuji. Yuji is able to block it, but the attack is so fast it nearly pierces completely through his left arm. Yuji tries to close the distance right after the attack is done, and hits him with his divergent fist. Choso blocks the hit, but is left confused by the gun. As the fight comes to a pause, Choso asks Yuji if his younger brothers left him with any final words. Choso clarifies that he means the two people Yuji killed, and he screams about what happened that sends the look on his face. He says that they didn't really have any last words, but they cried before they died. Choso was initially shocked, but is then quickly realized brain causing a bloodline going horizontally across his nose to bubble and distort his shape. Choso asks Eva when she was much older, his bloody eyes form an intimidating face and shaped by his face. He tells his younger brother that since they grew to look at their older brother, he refused to kill Yuji. Meanwhile, his bloody smallpox deity's domain expansion, they made his home material track underground beneath one of the disease's gravestones. The curse book counts down from 3 of them, and they may break out of the track in time. Having experienced this a few times now in the fight, they may understand whose post is need. First, the target of the remains is trapped inside a coffin and then buried underground when they're hit by the weight of the large gravestone. Lastly, The curse counts down from 3, and the target is infected with the smallpox disease. The curse hits May's coffin with another gravestone, but this time she immediately cuts her way out. She believes this part of the process is the most annoying and fears she won't be able to fight Ghetto freely if she's hit again. May also deduces that the domain can only target one person at a time, and devises a counterattack centered around that. The curse instinctively targets the person with strong curse energy, and only a single crow was caught inside the domain, so Meme needs the disease curse to focus on her brother before she can utilize the birds. She asks her little brother if he's willing to die for her, and in his typical simp fashion, he agrees to do anything for her. Meme flees off to the side while Yu flares up his curse energy. The disease curse notices the swelling energy and traps Wee inside of a coffin. A single hit by the gravestone would be enough to kill him, but as the curse chants, Meme suddenly slices off its hand with an axe. The Grade 1 sorcerer tells the disease curse that her brother's role is more of that than just a pack mule. I highly doubt, but he then proves this by activating his new Shadow Style Simple Domain to protect himself. When Meme asked if he was willing to die, he realized that this meant he was actually allowed to fight. Meme says that his role is to counter domains as she doesn't like to be indebted to anyone. The special grade curse disease heals its hand quickly and reaches out to attack Meme, when suddenly the single bird flies through the back of the curse spirit, piercing and exercising it in a single blow. While the curse spirit is dying, Meme asks the quickest way to raise one's strength as a sorcerer, and her brother replies that it will be a binding vow, with one's life as the trade-off for more power. Meme's extension technique, Bird Strike, exceeds the limits of the crow's cursed energy by forcing him to commit suicide with a kamikaze-like attack. No one other than Satoru Gojo has ever survived the devastating attack. With being defeated, Meme returns to the main area. She calls a flock of crows to her side that fill the underground subway, and asks if they're ready to die for her. From the shadows, Big Brain Ghetto comes to confront her and
Lessons
of this era. Back in the heat of battle against Yuji, Choso uses blood manipulation to control the blood outside of his body and shoot his piercing blood attack at Yuji. Yuji quickly realizes it's too fast and his chances of avoiding it are only about 50%. Yuji instead decides to dictate the timing of his opponent's next attack by jumping off the ground. This successfully baits Choso, who willingly fires piercing blood again at Yuji's head just before he hits the ground. However, Yuji drops his upper body's weight all the way down close to the ground at the very moment his feet touch it, quickly avoiding the beam. He then immediately rushes towards Choso and attempts to close the distance between them. Choso commends Yuji and bends the beam down to try and hit him.